The USA is flexing on Russia. Yep, economically, militarily, and politically, the USA is flexing on Russia in the geopolitical arena. But how and why is this the case? Well, no worries. Let me show you why the USA appears to be in a dominant position, and Russia, on the other hand, is having to quickly adjust to try and sell a win back home. But before I do, show some support and like the video and subscribe to the channel to see more. It helps me out a lot. Nice. Welcome to the USA is flexing on Russia video. On the 24th of February 2022, Russia began an invasion of Ukraine. We all know the story. And sadly, about 8 million Ukrainians have been internally displaced, and another 8 million have fled the nation. But rather than Russians walk right through Ukrainian territory to occupy the capital of Kyiv in a matter of weeks or months, Russia has instead gotten stuck. The USA, on the other hand, has provided billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine. More than $75 billion in total, of which 61% has been military aid. Think weapons, security assistance, and grants and loans for military equipment. This may sound like a lot of money, because it is. It's the equivalent to the entire Indian military budget for 2022, or 116% of the Russian budget for the same year. But arguably, the USA has gotten what it wants, for what it might consider a decent price. $76.8 billion in 2022 to prevent Russia from invading Ukraine, a sovereign nation with aspirations of joining the EU, without having to send thousands of US military troops to Ukrainian soil. All this happening at the same time as identifying Russian military weaknesses and watching the nation dust down some Soviet-era armoured bumper cars. So, from DC's point of view, this has already been a display of strength, but it gets better for those on the American continent. Russia's response to Western countries supporting Ukraine has been to weaponize energy and food exports, to the shock of some naive faces of German politicians in Berlin. This has caused a lot of pain, not only in the West, but also around the world. Many nations have seen food inflation hit the moon, causing people to go without food. However, the impact on the USA has been, well, muted. Despite the chaos in commodity markets, Uncle Sam's economy grew by a solid 2.1% in 2022, not much slower than China's 3%, and, well, much quicker than the reported negative 2.1% in Russia, which is a figure highly contested among some economists. As for inflation, the USA saw a peak just a few months after the war in June 2022 of 9.1%, and the war and Russia's retaliation to the West in 2022 did relatively little to the USA's inflation rate, which was on the rise way before the war as a result of COVID-related factors such as supply chain issues and COVID stimulus initiatives. Whereas Russia has now become a heavily sanctioned economy by the US and the EU, restricting its ability to get highly advanced equipment for many industries, not just military related. This has pushed Russia towards China in order to obtain certain technologies, anything from advanced high-speed train technologies to computing components, as Russia by itself will struggle to thrive alone as a result of the lack of competition within its borders. So, to sum up, things are going to be relatively worse in Russia. The war may not be over, but the USA for now looks like a winner. Chad America appears to have spent less than 10% of its military budget on support to Ukraine, allowing the Ukrainians to hold off the Russian military, all while calming inflation and squeezing out a 2.1% growth rate, which would be considered a decent year of economic growth. The USA has dropped the mic and left the scene. It appears to have flexed on Russia. Hey everyone, thank you for watching until the end. Let me know you watched this far by commenting the fire emoji. Comment below how you think the USA has performed in the last 18 months. Have US weaknesses shown? Also, you can support what I do on Patreon. Otherwise, take care. Bye.